Welcome back to Midnight English Podcast. Oh, wow. It really feels comforting to be here with you again tonight. My name is Maya, and if you're listening right now, I hope you're somewhere quiet. Maybe sitting alone, maybe lying down, or maybe just taking a moment for yourself after a long day. Because this episode is meant to feel calm, slow, and easy to follow, like a conversation between close friends late at night.
Yeah, hi friends, I'm Daniel, and honestly, tonight feels like one of those nights where you don't want to think too hard. You don't want to analyze everything. You just want to listen, relax, and let English come to you naturally without pressure, without stress, and without feeling like you need to perform.
Before we even talk about English, let me ask you something a little different tonight. When was the last time you caught yourself rushing through the day without really noticing how you felt?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. Honestly, that happens more often than I'd like to admit. But just yesterday, I realized I had been rushing from one task to another all day, answering messages, checking emails, thinking about what to do next, and I didn't really stop until the evening.
Hmm, hmm. That feeling is very familiar. And what did you do when you finally noticed that?
I remember I just stopped for a moment, sat down, took a deep breath, and thought to myself, okay, I need to slow down a bit because my mind feels tired.
And did you notice the words you used again? Without thinking about English at all.
Oh, yeah, I said I stopped for a moment. I took a deep breath, and I didn't plan those words. They just came naturally.
Exactly. And that's why today we're talking about the word take. Because native speakers use this word constantly in moments like this, moments of life, emotion, movement, and reflection, without ever stopping to think about grammar.
Ah, yes, take. Such a small word. But for many English learners, it feels confusing, unpredictable, and sometimes even scary to use.
And if you're listening right now and thinking, yeah, I understand take when I hear it, but I'm not confident using it myself, you're definitely not alone.
Honestly, most learners understand take very well when listening, but when it's time to speak, they pause, they hesitate, and they start translating in their head.
They think, should I say take? Should I say do? Should I say get? Should I say have? And by the time they choose, the conversation has already moved on.
And that moment of hesitation is exactly what we want to gently work through in this episode.
Let's talk honestly for a moment about why learners overthink the word take, because it's not about intelligence and it's not about effort.
Yeah, it's usually because take has many meanings, and in many languages, those meanings are expressed with completely different verbs.
Exactly. So learners try to map one English word to many different words in their own language, and that creates confusion.
And when confusion appears, confidence drops, even if the learner understands everything perfectly.
That's why tonight we're not going to explain take with definitions or grammar rules. We're going to feel it through real situations.
Because that's how native speakers learn it, not by studying it, but by living with it.
One helpful way to think about take is to see it as a life verb, a verb that helps you move through daily life.
Yes, take helps you talk about rest, movement, time, emotion, responsibility, and even personal space.
And once you start seeing take this way, it becomes much easier to use naturally. Let's start with one of the most common and comforting uses of take, when it's connected to rest and self-care.
Probably the most common phrase here is take a break. And this is something you hear everywhere.
For example, after working for a long time, you might say, I need to take a break because my mind feels tired.
Or your manager might say, go take a short break, you've been working hard.
That sentence feels supportive, not demanding.
Another very common phrase is take a nap, especially when people feel exhausted.
Like, I'm going to take a nap after lunch because I didn't sleep well last night.
You can also say take some time for yourself, which sounds very caring and gentle.
For example, I told my friend, you should take some time for yourself this weekend. You've been doing a lot lately.
And notice how natural that sounds, no grammar thinking, just real life.
Another phrase people use all the time is take it easy.
Yes, like when someone looks stressed, you might say, hey, take it easy, everything will be okay.
And that sentence alone can make someone feel calmer.
At the end of conversations, people often say, take care.
Take care feels warm, friendly, and sincere.
For example, I'll text you later, take care, sounds very natural.
Now let's move into very small daily actions, because this is where take appears constantly.
One of the most common examples is take a shower.
Yes, learners often want to say do a shower, but native speakers say take a shower.
For example, I usually take a shower in the morning before work.
Or I took a quick shower before going out.
You can also say take a bath, take a walk, take the bus, take the train.
For example, every day I take the bus to work, and no one questions that sentence.
You can say take medicine like I need to take my medicine tonight.
Or take notes during a meeting or a class.
I often say I took some notes so I wouldn't forget what we talked about.
Again, very natural, very everyday English. If you're listening right now, you might already realize something important.
Yes, all these examples are simple daily life situations.
There's nothing special, nothing academic, just normal life.
And that's exactly why take feels so natural to native speakers.
So far, we've seen how take helps us talk about rest, self-care, and small daily actions.
But this is just the beginning, because take becomes even more interesting when we use it to talk about time, responsibility, emotions, and life experiences.
In the next part, we'll go deeper into those areas and explore how native speakers use take to talk about time, pressure, learning, and personal growth.
So stay with us, take your time, and let's continue this calm English journey together.
All right, let's continue gently from where we left off, because now that we've seen how take shows up in rest and daily routines, it's time to move into something even more important: how native speakers use take when they talk about time and process.
Yeah, this part is really important because people use take all the time to talk about how long things need, how much effort something requires, and how patient we have to be with ourselves.
One of the most common sentences you will ever hear is something like learning English takes time. And that sentence already feels very honest and realistic.
Yes, and what's interesting is that native speakers say this sentence very calmly, not as an excuse, but as a fact of life.
Exactly. You don't hear people saying learning English requires an extended period of time in daily conversation. You hear learning English takes time.
And you can replace English with almost anything. Learning a new job takes time. Building confidence takes time. Getting used to a new routine takes time.
All of those sentences sound very natural and very human. Another very common way to use take is when we talk about how long something needs, especially daily activities.
For example, you might say it takes me 30 minutes to get to work, and no one thinks twice about that sentence.
Or it takes about 10 minutes to make coffee in the morning, which sounds completely normal.
You can also say it takes a lot of energy to focus after a long day.
Yes. And that sentence already expresses both time and effort.
Another example could be it takes patience to learn something new.
Or it takes courage to speak English, even when you're not confident yet. Now let's slow down and talk about one phrase that feels very warm and supportive, and that is, take your time.
Yes, this is something native speakers say when they don't want to pressure someone.
For example, if someone is nervous while speaking, you might say, take your time, I'm listening.
Or during learning, a teacher might say, take your time, there's no rush.
And emotionally, that sentence feels very safe.
It tells the other person that speed is not important, comfort is.
Now let's move into another important area, how take is used with pressure and responsibility.
One very common phrase here is take responsibility.
For example, you can say, I take responsibility for my mistake.
That sentence sounds honest and mature.
You can also say, take control, like I decided to take control of my schedule.
Or take action when you stop thinking and start doing something.
Another very gentle phrase is, take pressure off yourself.
Yes, when someone is too hard on themselves, you might say you need to take some pressure off yourself.
That sentence feels caring, not judgmental. Now let's connect this directly to learning English, because this is where many listeners feel emotional.
Yes, learners often say I understand English, but speaking takes courage.
Or listening takes focus, especially after a long day.
You might also hear learning English takes consistency.
And consistency doesn't mean doing a lot every day. It just means showing up regularly. This reminds me of a learner I met who always said, I don't have enough time to study English.
That's something we hear very often.
But when we talked more, she realized it wasn't about time. It was about pressure.
And so what changed for her?
She stopped trying to do everything at once and started saying, I'll take it slowly, just a little every day.
And that mindset made a big difference.
Let's talk gently about mistakes, because mistakes are part of learning.
Some learners say I take long time and people understand you, but it sounds more natural to say it takes a long time.
Or someone might say, I take 10 minutes to home, and it sounds more natural to say it takes me 10 minutes to get home.
These are small changes, not big problems.
And over time, your ear starts to catch them naturally. So in this part, we've seen how take helps us talk about time, pressure, responsibility, and learning.
But there's still another side of take that's very emotional and very human.
In the next part, we'll explore how native speakers use take with emotions, reactions, relationships, and personal space.
So stay with us, take your time, and let's continue together.
All right, let's move into a very important part now, because this is where the word take becomes deeply emotional and very human. This is the part where English stops feeling like language study and starts feeling like real life.
Yeah, I completely agree because when people talk about emotions, reactions, and relationships, they don't use fancy words. They use simple verbs like take.
One very common phrase you'll hear is take it personally, and this phrase appears a lot in emotional conversations.
For example, if someone gives you feedback at work, a friend might say, "Don't take it personally, they're just trying to help."
And that sentence feels comforting because it tells you that the comment is not an attack on who you are.
You might also hear, "Take something seriously," especially when people talk about decisions or commitments.
Yes, like I've decided to take my English learning seriously this year, and that sounds very natural and very intentional.
Or someone might say, "I take my health seriously now," and that already shows a change in mindset.
Another very common use of take is when we talk about how we interpret things.
Yes, for example, you might hear, "I think you took what I said the wrong way."
That sentence is very useful because it helps reduce conflict instead of creating more.
You can also say, "Please don't take this the wrong way," before giving an opinion.
And that makes the conversation feel softer and more respectful. Now let's talk about relationships, because take is everywhere there too.
One phrase people use a lot is, "take some space."
Yes, like I just need to take some space to think, which doesn't mean you want to leave. It just means you need emotional room.
Another phrase is, "take someone for granted."
For example, sometimes we take people for granted without realizing it.
And that sentence carries a lot of emotion, even though the words are simple.
You can also say, take care of someone, which feels warm and supportive.
Like, "I need to take care of my family," or "she takes care of everyone around her."
Take is also used to express empathy and support.
Yes, for example, "Take it easy tonight, you've had a long day." Or "take a deep breath, everything will be okay."
Those sentences don't solve problems, but they help people feel calmer. This part really reminds me of a learner I worked with who understood English very well, but always felt nervous when speaking.
That's something many listeners can relate to.
Yes, she told me. Every time I speak, I'm afraid people will take my mistakes seriously.
Oh, wow, that fear is very real.
So I told her something very simple. I said, most people won't take your mistakes personally. They're just listening to your message.
And that probably helped her relax.
It really did. She slowly started speaking more because she stopped taking every small mistake so seriously. Another very important use of take is how we talk to ourselves.
Yes, self-talk shapes how we learn and how we feel.
You might say to yourself, I need to take it easy on myself today.
Or "I shouldn't take every mistake so hard."
Those sentences are very healthy.
They help reduce pressure and keep motivation alive.
Let's gently talk about a few common issues, just to help things feel smoother.
Some learners say, "I take it very serious," and people understand you, but it sounds more natural to say, "I take it very seriously."
Or someone might say, I take personal this comment, and it sounds more natural to say, I take this comment personally.
These are small adjustments, not big mistakes.
And they will start to feel natural the more you listen. So in this part, we've seen how take helps us talk about emotions, reactions, relationships, and personal space.
And this is where English becomes more emotional, more human, and more real.
In the next part, we'll slow down even more and practice together. Reflect on your own day and gently wrap everything up.
So stay with us, take a breath, and let's continue.
All right, let's slow everything down now, because this part is not about learning more. It's about letting what you already heard settle gently in your mind. almost like sitting quietly at the end of the day and just noticing how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. There's no pressure here at all. No need to remember every example, no need to repeat anything perfectly. Just listening and reflecting is already enough.
So let me ask you something very simple, and you don't need to answer out loud if you don't want to. Just think about it quietly for yourself. Today, what did you take?
Maybe you took a break, even if it was only a few minutes. Maybe you took a walk. Maybe you took some time to breathe and reset your thoughts.
Or maybe you took something emotionally, like you took feedback at work, you took a comment from someone, or you took a situation harder than you wanted to.
And that's okay, because noticing how you take things is already a big step toward understanding yourself and your English better.
You might think about moments where you told yourself, I shouldn't take this so personally, or I need to take it easy today.
Those sentences are not just English practice, they're actually ways of being kinder to yourself.
Let's do a very gentle practice together now. Nothing fast, nothing stressful, just calm reflection.
Think about one small moment today, something ordinary, something simple.
You can complete a sentence in your head like, Today, I took some time to myself.
Or today I took a deep breath before reacting.
Or maybe, Today I took things too seriously, and that's okay too.
Because awareness always comes before change.
And if you want, you can try saying one sentence quietly, just for yourself, using take.
It doesn't need to sound perfect. It just needs to feel honest.
You know, when we look at all these examples together, it becomes clear why native speakers use take so often.
Yeah, because take is flexible, emotional, and gentle. It doesn't force meaning. It adapts to the situation.
It lets you talk about actions, emotions, reactions, and even self care, all with one simple word.
And that's why learners often hesitate, because they think one word shouldn't do so many things.
But in real English, that's exactly what makes a word powerful.
And the more you hear it, the more you feel it, the more naturally it starts to come out when you speak.
If you're listening to this and thinking, I understand all of this, but I'm still afraid to speak, that feeling makes complete sense.
Yeah, many learners understand far more than they realize, but confidence grows slowly, not instantly.
So instead of pushing yourself to speak perfectly, try something different.
Try allowing yourself to speak comfortably,
Use words like take to support your message, not to test your grammar.
because people don't connect with perfect sentences, they connect with real meaning.
As we come to the end of this episode, I hope you're feeling a little calmer, a little more comfortable, and maybe a little less afraid of simple words like take.
Because simple words are often the ones that carry the most meaning in real life.
Tonight, or tomorrow, or sometime soon, notice when you use take naturally.
When you take a break, when you take your time, when you take care of yourself.
Those moments matter.
And every time you notice them, your English becomes a little more yours.
Thank you for spending this quiet time with us.
We're really glad you're here, listening, learning, and growing at your own pace.
Until next time, be gentle with yourself.
Take it slow, take it easy, and keep moving forward one small step at a time.